Hello everybody, Nine Andes. I'm back. I just watched something on MSNBC, Jen Psaki. I think it was up yesterday about some new stuff Homeland Security's into. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hangers on. Thanks for hanging on. Happy Pride to everybody that celebrates. If you don't, just be nice. If you can't say something nice, just move along. Just saying. And let's get into this. It's a little bit long. Not that the one this morning wasn't. But anyway, Department of Homeland Security kicked out Bill Braniff. Bill Braniff is an Army vet with 20 years experience in national security and preventing terrorism, whatnot. 20 years experience. Now, Noam said that she would not be renewing his contract, which was coming up probably in about, well, it would have been up by now, but this was back in March when Doge fired 8 of his best in the agency, 8 of them. So he thought, what kind of an example am I going to be if I stick around? So rather than wait around 6 weeks, because it wasn't going to do any difference one way or another, because everything was changing and no work was getting done, I would imagine, he quit. So his 8 staff apparently were let go for poor performance. That's what they say all the time. If you hear a motorcycle or whatever, that's the guy over there. And he's running engines all the time. So I can't let this wait. It's 4:45. Guy makes supper. So anyway, back onto the story. So the Mango Moose Knuckle has invented another, like a sub-agency of Homeland Security, ICE operations type thing, and Homeland's immigration focus is, in my opinion, turning from law enforcement to thug enforcement. They show up in street clothes, their faces are covered, they have got no badges, no ID, they don't show warrants, they just show up and they take people away. So, you know, Joe Biden deported more people than Trump is. But Joe Biden did it with no cameras, nothing being recorded, just what it was ever on the cop shirt. No cosplay, no Party City uniforms. He just did it humanely, with due process, and deported them to safe locations. If their lives were in death where they were going, they found a place to deport them to, with a shot at coming back if they had no criminal record. Because merely crossing the border into the United States is not a felony, contrary to popular belief. It is a misdemeanor. Homeland Security, under the goat and puppy assassinator, is taking 1,800 Homeland Security investigators, 2,000 Justice Department employees from the FBI and the U.S. Marshal Service and DEA, plus 250 IRS agents have all been reassigned to this new little sub-agency. In my words, they hired these people so they could terrify more people, round up brown people with or without a cause. That's what it looks like to me. Now, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So now that these, 338, almost, let's round it up to about 4,000 people, shall we? Have been taken out of their jobs. So them coming out of those jobs in the FBI and DEA, so all the stuff that they were investigating is all put on hold because those investigators aren't there. It's either put on hold or they've totally screwed up the case because they're coming to court. These guys are out doing other stuff now. So, can't have one without the other. So going forward and having to pause other cases because they've lost the manpower to satisfy Voldemort, Stephen Miller, his sick fantasy of white replacement theory. And because of the incompetence of the Trump administration, extreme violence investigation in the United States is now going to be left up to the states to do. That's right. So if your kid's kidnapped, better hope that sheriff can help you. Just saying, because they're the ones that are going to take over all this stuff. Unless you're lucky to have a local FBI. But yeah, any federal crimes like that, terrorism stuff, let the sheriff handle it. So he was let go. Mr. Braniff was let go in favor of a 22-year-old that just graduated college. That's right. And he has absolutely zilch experience in terrorism investigation or prevention. And his name is Thomas Fugate. And now he is in charge of the Department of Homeland Security's terrorist prevention. Yeah, he looks like the big balls type of guy that Doge would have. Same look. And according to ProPublica, his LinkedIn page says the most experience he has comes from having served as a Secretary General in the Model United Nations Club at school. He played a role for funsies, and the only qualification he has is that he is an aficionado at ass-kissing, apparently, and loyalty to the president. From People.com, Meredith Kyle, she writes, when you apply for a federal job now, you have to answer 4 200-word essay questions, and the questions include, which of Trump's executive orders have been significant to their lives? Give me examples. They are now deleting DEI hires, merit-based hiring plan that focuses on skills-based hiring, eliminating unnecessary degrees, like, who needs those? The use of rigorous job-related assessments. Really? How many does this kid have? To ensure candidates are selected based on merit and competence. And I'm paraphrasing here with these questions, but if those are the hiring preferences they have, nobody has a right to be in their positions in the Trump administration. Question 1 is, how has your commitment to the Constitution and the founding of the United States inspired you to want a job in the government? Provide examples. Number 2, how would you use these skills to improve the government's efficiency and effectiveness? Provide examples. Number 3, how would you help advance the president's agenda, his executive orders, and his priorities? Name 1 or 2 executive orders that are significant to you, and how would you help implement them? How has a strong work ethic helped you, your academic, professional, or personal achievements? Provide 1 or 2 examples, please. None of them can do that because none of them have done these jobs before and they were just handed to them. They didn't have to apply to them. They just had to kiss his ass long enough and hard enough. So for every employee let go under Doge, only 1 in 4 will be hired back after the hiring freeze. I think it's July 15th. And that very oath that every federal agent and federal employee takes, there's an implication in there that it also means your oath to the mango moose knuckle. Not said, but definitely implied. It's like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what I mean, right? So I would say about 90% of Trump's administration would not be hired according to their new hiring practices. They have no qualifications. Oh, I wish he would shut the hell up out there. No qualifications other than strapping on a new pair of knee pads and puckering up. So according to ProPublica, Hannah Alum, this kid, his qualification is he got to go to Mar-a-Lago for Trump's 78th birthday because he belonged to a fan club, Club 47. Mr. Fugate traced his political awakening, Hannah says, when he was 13 years old. In a generation deprived of hope, opportunity, and happiness, I saw in one man the capacity for real and lasting change. Donald Trump. Make me puke. Fugate is described as being a minder or babysitter to oversee the pivot from traditional counterterrorism and steer resources to MAGA-friendly sheriffs and border security projects. In my opinion, that would be like getting all the freed Oath Keepers and Proud Boys new jobs, and maybe a couple mercenaries throwing in there on board with their program. And that's who I think is behind those masks. Just saying. This is to steer away from domestic terrorism, where their focus was on domestic terrorism, and they want to shift that away from any far-right extremism. You know, all those people that want to blow up mosques and stuff like that? Yeah. All them Trumpers that are out there doing that. There's a couple lefties, I'm sure, but sure, another January 6th bunch of marauders, only this time they have legal weapons and the authority of a rogue government to give them permission to do whatever the hell they like with no reprisals. The terrorism category that framed the agency's work for years was abruptly expanded to include drug cartels, part of what the DHS staffers call an overreaching message that border security is the only mission that matters now, except when folks from overseas see Trump as a threat, and then there's stuff going on, right? Could be another 9/11. You don't know, but they're not going to be equipped to handle that because they're only doing border security and immigration. That's all. Over 4,000 people dragged over there to do the job that less than half of Biden's people did, and did it better. Handling domestic terrorism, things like the arson at Josh Shapiro's governor's mansion. Governor Shapiro, yeah. Mass shooting at Florida State, yep, that was a terrorist attack. A car bombing in front of a fertility clinic, that was a terrorist thing. A threatened kidnapping of the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, yep. None of that stuff, so that's going to be on the back burner for sure. So next time something big happens, near and dear to you or around you, just remember that little Tommy Fugate, you better hope that he gets the right constitutional sheriffs to handle that investigation. If you don't know what a constitutional sheriff is, I suggest you Google it, because there are some near and dear to your hometown, no doubt. My military mind, Naughty Nana, loves you so much. Be good, be safe. Please take care of you first. Love me, like me, share me, and hangers on. Oof, love you. Thanks for coming back, and don't forget to subscribe. I love y'all. I just do. I love you. Happy Friday.